So some of you don't know, some of you, or maybe some of you do know, says, Gigi, you look stunning. That
Thank you.
My brother Chris, it's alleged that my brother Chris have other children. The only one we really know for a fact
is Amani.
Is our blood relative, Amani. Is my nephew Amani. He's the only one that we had a DNA paternity test done for. The other ones were in our lives at one point, like they were our family. But unfortunately, due to, I would say, illness from their mother's side, we all know that my brother had bipolar, but their mother wasn't diagnosed with having an issue. But we put together over the years that she had an issue. And after she requested that we basically leave her and her children alone, that's when I gave them back. So I took care of her 2 children. She has 2 boys who I took care of. I called them my nephew. I thought they were my nephews. And I took care of them for 8 years while my brother was unfortunately in and out of jail and going through mental issues. Let me be very clear. Mental issues are very, very serious. We do not make light of it because it was introduced to me when Chris was, my brother
18.
was about
17
yeah,
when it first came down on him.
And I'm almost 5 years younger than he is, than he was. So that was my first dealing with someone with some type of mental issues. And I didn't realize how deep it was. So nevertheless, going through the emotional roller coaster of the emotions that Chris sent us through. And then once we thought he was cured of it, because back then it was called manic depression.
Manic.
It wasn't bipolar. It was called manic depression. We went through a lot of things with him, as most people who have mental illnesses do. We got him diagnosed. He got medication. And both Gigi and I was still a child, but still Gigi taught me, I would say, how to be of assistance with my brother. And we did that. He then met,
yes, we could.
Yeah, he then met the supposedly niece and the nephew's mother. Some years later, they got together supposedly and had children because it was speculated back then that they weren't my brother's children.
And let me say this, I'm sorry, but I got to jump in. I've always taught my boys that if you meet a woman and she's ready to let you bed her the first night, watch out for her. Because if she'll allow you to bed her the first night, she'll allow anybody. Well, Chris told me that he bedded her the first night. And I asked him when she supposedly got pregnant for him if he thought the baby was his. He said he wasn't sure. By both of my boys loving babies and kids so much. When the baby got here, he's so gung-ho. Yeah, it's mine. Yeah, it's mine. He was ready to claim anything that looked like or act like it might have been his. So we don't know. Like he stated from the beginning, the only one that we're really sure of is Amani. He's the only one that had a DNA. So
yeah,
continue.
So we didn't know that her mental issue primarily was in the realm of telling lies. She literally has always been an habitual liar.
Habitual.
And what type of adult will talk about a child's mother to the child? It takes a real off person, I think, to do that. So
we never did.
We never talked to my supposedly nephews at that time when they were children about their mother. And it became more and more difficult for us, Gigi and I, to deal with her while dealing, of course, with my nephews at that time, with my alleged nephews at that time. So it wasn't until I saw she was a big liar talking about other people. Like she had a girlfriend once that the girlfriend she thought liked my brother. And out of anger at the girlfriend, I don't know whether the girlfriend liked my brother or not, but out of anger at the girlfriend supposedly liking my brother, she called CPS on her best friend. And it was, the girl went through some drama. I think she got cleared of it, but she still went through some drama with it. And then later she called, back in Detroit, back in the day, if you suspected someone for having heavy drug traffic, you could just call 911 and they would raid that person's house. So everyone back then was really, anyone who had an enemy, your way of getting at your enemy was to call 911 and say you suspect high drug activity. And SWAT would just go to the house and raid the house. And she did that to another young lady friend of hers. And I'm like, wait a minute, it started clicking. Like, if she's doing this to these people, when is she going to make up a lie, an egregious lie about me?
Us.
Well, us, yeah. So we didn't know that in time she would tell my brother because she was always trying to separate my brother from us. And it worked. He had mental illness and he allowed that penetration from her into his mind. And so she told him that I tried to make a pass on her several times. That absolutely, when I tell y'all, that never happened. But how could I convince my brother of this? So these were issues that, then she made up a lie and said that Gigi, we never had a good relationship with her. She made up a lie and said that Gigi confided in her to my brother that I wasn't my mother's son because my complexion. I'm darker complected versus Gigi and Chris. Just made this up. And of course, Chris, he came and told me. You can only imagine the drama that created, because within the black community, we already have the colorism issues. Anyway, so it was but once we sat down and really put together how poisoned she was, what could we do for that? We couldn't talk about or educate my nephews. I couldn't tell them all the many issues that I was having with their mother. Now, here's the kicker. They're adults now, and they see for themselves. But she's still their mother.
Right.
She's still their mother. And it's very hard for children to see past the flaws of their parents, no matter how bad the flaws are, typically. And oftentimes children that are in CPS, when they're taken away from their parents, the parents have been burning them and doing everything under the sun, burning them and putting an iron to their skin. And that child will still side with their parent. So it's really common for that behavior. And I decided after 8 years of battling, and I mean, y'all, when I say battling, 8 years of battling with their mother, I just decided I've had enough.
But that was after she told us that we couldn't see them no more.
Right. I still had them, though. She said we couldn't see them, but they were still in my possession. I still had them.
When she said what I'm talking about, when she told me, take care of my 2 kids and for you to go have your own.
Yeah.
They wasn't in your possession yet.
They were. So let me back up. I had, which was called, it wasn't, I didn't have legal custody. She basically signed a notarized letter stating that I could take her children because she was struggling in and out of houses. Chris was in jail. She needed help. And her 2 boys came to live with me.
And what pissed her off was when they had something at the school, remember? And she went to the school and said she wanted information. And she told them that she was their mother. Mm-hmm. And they didn't believe her because they only knew of you.
Yeah.
And that pissed her off. And that's when the real issue started.
And it was, you threw my...
I'm sorry.
She threw me for 1 second.
I'm sorry.
So,
I have to say it while I think about it, else it may go away and not come back.
So, oh God, what was I trying to say? When at the point that she mentioned about me, I didn't have any children, of course, so she mentioned for me to go have my own children and for Gigi to take care of her own too, which was me and Chris.
Right.
At the point that happened, I just had enough. I had kissed her butt. Wait 1 second, Mom.
To stay out of her kid's life. That's what she said.
Yeah.
Stay out of my kid's life. When they tell you that, how do you argue with the person that's telling you to stay away from their kids? It's only one thing to do. Stay away from their kids. There's no such thing as grandmother rights or grandparent rights. Some people think there is. There isn't. There's no such thing as grandparent rights. So I had no rights. I couldn't go to the court and say, hey, let me see my grandchildren. She said for us to stay away. That's what we did. After staying away, she started implementing all this poison in their head. What would they believe? Their mother. Natural.
So I'm going to address the $5 worth of nickels. Give me a second. I'll get there. I just saw someone put that down there. So the issues that we had been having, I finally decided I'm done. No worries. I'm going to give you your children back. She didn't even ask for them back like that. She was getting welfare for them. She gave me nothing. She lied to me and told me that she was not receiving welfare. At the time, I was a hairdresser, and one of my customers worked for social services. And they were able to tap in and confirm she was, in fact, getting welfare. I had them Monday through Friday. They only went back with her on the weekends, on the holidays, and over the summer. And I never, ever claimed them on my taxes, and I never got a dime of food stamps. So I took care of them totally and solely out of my pocket in hopes of one day they would live productive lives and I wouldn't have my ass on here talking about this shit. So the next thing is we didn't talk. I sent them back. We didn't talk. Almost 20 years passed up until their father died, which was in 2020. That's when Gigi took it upon herself to reach out to Chris's oldest son, supposedly his oldest son, he has his name, and to tell him, hey, your father passed. I want to give my condolences, and how do you want to handle this? Because they were the next of kin. It wasn't Gigi and I. They were the next of kin. My brother wasn't married, so it would go to his next, adult child. They didn't respond to Gigi's phone call because years prior to that, the oldest son had stolen $20, not $5, $20 from my grandmother, which is Gigi's mother. I purchased a house 5 houses down from my grandmother, and my grandmother often assisted me in watching my nephews and cooking for my nephews, and they had a very close relationship to their great grandmother, my grandmother. And my grandmother was sweet as pie. I mean, I tell Day all the time that my grandmother is better than her grandmother. But my grandmother was much like Gigi. So everyone loved her. She would give you the shirt off her back. We were so angered that my 19-year-old adult nephew would go to my grandmother's house, tell her he was hungry. She gets up, goes in the kitchen to cook a meal for him. While she was cooking that meal, he dips back to her bedroom. Wait, Mom. He dips back to her bedroom and takes these $20 worth of nickels. It wasn't the nickels as much it was the principle that he would do such a thing to a woman that directly was responsible for caring for him. My grandmother was my next caregiver when I was absent, when I couldn't, watch them because I was working. And so when I find out about it, I was living here in Vegas. When I go back to Detroit, we see the oldest nephew who stole from my grandmother. We see him over to his father's house at the time and confronted him. He first lied and said he didn't do it. We knew it was a lie. Then he admitted it and apologized. And I told him, well, I'm going back to Detroit, but you better apologize to Mama first chance you get. He didn't do it. He told me, okay. He didn't do it. Some time passed. Gigi has words with him about the fact that he didn't do it. He gets so angry, he don't speak to Gigi no more. Now, keep in mind, that was about 10 years, 11 years or so prior to Chris, my brother, dying. So in our minds, although we're not talking to him and he don't talk to us, we're good. They don't call me. I don't call them. No love lost. When Chris passed, Gigi still hurt over the passing of her son, and she also wanted a special connection with the next best thing to her son, which in her mind would possibly be his children, right? That it's alleged that they're his children. So when Gigi reaches out to him to basically let bygones be bygones and, hey, your father just passed, we had death in the family, all that other bull crap is to the side. It was then that his son told a mutual friend of ours that he's okay with talking to me, but he don't want to talk to my mother. You don't get a chance to talk to me if your ass ain't talking to my mother. And so and I'm knowing the way my mother had been to them, but you're not speaking to my mother, and I know why. So when that happened, I told Gigi, she told me later that night that she was trying to call his son again because she felt she had a bad connection earlier on the phone. And it was then that I told her, no, Ma, I just found out from a mutual friend that he intentionally he hung up on you. So now we know he's keeping that same energy from years ago. So let's leave it alone. So when we get to the viewing the night before, I must admit my mother was wrong.
I was not wrong.
Well, you was wrong because of that. That's not the time and place.
No.
But listen, I understand emotionally. I understand emotionally.
Nobody has ever. You have never lost a child.
Right.
I lost a child.
I lost the child.
I'm not apologetic for not one thing that I said. I see this boy sitting up laughing and talking with my brother, and I'm thinking about how he done did my mother, and then how he turned around, and now he's doing to me. No, you're not going to do that. I'm not in that mind space.
No, I understand that. I understand
Yes, I went off.
Yeah.
Yes, I said every and anything I thought I wanted to say.
Yeah, you did.
And asked me if I felt better. Yes, I felt better because there's so many stages of death that you experience when you lose somebody. I experienced anger. I experienced hurt. I experienced guilt. I experienced lack of protection for him. I experienced so many things. One thing that I experienced, and I was able to kind of get rid of that was anger. Because at the end of my son's life, none of them three acted like, he literally, and he told me this, he literally kissed their ass for them to even talk to him.
Yeah, he did.
So do I feel good with looking up and seeing their face? Shit, no.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody should be there but the people that love him. I know I love him. And as far as I'm concerned, the last words he spoke to me, they didn't love him.
Exactly.
So do I want somebody there that don't love him? I don't give a shit who it is. I don't want nobody there that don't love him.
Yeah.
So when that went on, when that went down, when I acted like that, no, I'm not apologetic for a damn word I said. Not one.
Well, when I say she was wrong, because I do feel like, just like right now, I hate having to take to social media. This is not social media's business, respectfully.
No, it's not.
But because they took this shit to social media, and we are public figures, and they want money, they want fame, they want a platform, now I have to stoop down to that level and address it, because we have many of you that understand us, that love us, that support us, but you're confused. Yeah. And so we owe it to you. I'm only doing this for the fans. I'm not doing this for no one else. But I need to make sure that the record is clear. My mother done a damn good job raising me. And it's a poor dog that can't bark up his own damn tree. My mother done a very good job raising me. And she done a very good job teaching me morals and values and respect. And all the things that you guys see in our children are things that my mother instilled in me. And those things that I was trying to instill in my nephews. I knew what I was working against. I knew the poison that I was working against. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to give the type of medicine that was required, the mental medicine that was required to stop the poison that their mother was giving them. Their mother poisoned them about us. Their mother poisoned them about their father. And you see it right now. I mean, so the issue now is they want to be a part of something, but you wasn't a part of it for the last 20 years, and it didn't bother you. You were okay. We didn't speak at my brother's funeral. When they talk about we don't have the right to talk about their father, I have every right. This is her son, right. My brother, who was there before we even knew y'all existed. Wait, let me finish this. My apologies. So when they say that, it pisses me off. But my next thing is, where were you when there was the funeral? Yeah. Because y'all were the next of kin. They were the next of kin. So that means that funeral was their responsibility. No one stepped up to bury my brother. No one stepped up to offer flowers. No one asked or told us how they wanted the funeral to go, because technically it was their responsibility. They were supposed to find the funeral home. They were supposed to write the obituary. They were the next of kin. Why did it fall on Gigi and I? It fell on who it's always been on. Period. It's all, whenever my brother got sick and got called to the hospital, it was my mother and I that was there. Whenever my brother would get bipolar and things would happen at their house when he had those young children, it was my mother and I that went there to make sure CPS didn't get them. That's how I got them. So to now have all these lies told and poison, and it's just Gigi. My supposedly niece reached out to me a year ago, and I told her, anything you want to say to me, you can say it, as long as you're respectful. You can address anything, you can ask me anything, and we spoke. We had a very good conversation. I even told her on many areas that she was a casualty of war. Yeah. Because unfortunately, at the point that the real drama happened with us and their mother, she was a baby. Yeah. So unfortunately, she never got a chance to experience the love that we had for her. She only can see and hear through pictures of her brothers. She can only see and hear through those pictures that the love that we had, because we believe in birthdays and Christmas and Halloween. Her mother was a Jehovah's Witness. She didn't believe in that. She didn't want us doing it. But I'm like, listen, when they with us, we're doing it. I think at some point the mother may have started doing it. But the biggest thing is when Sierra, the niece, daughter, when she saw these issues, versus her understanding that the issues came from her own mother, that it's her mother's fault that we're not a family. It's not our fault. I mean, why would my mother love my 14 children and not love Chris's children? Yeah. Why would my mother love my 14 children or take Amani in after 24 years of being absent and just love him with open arms? Why would my mother take Eric in? Eric is now our family. Why would she take him in and not take the children that my brother announced were his children? We were at the births of all three of them. My mother and I were at all three births, but their issue is greater than what they're expressing. Yeah. And I tried to talk to them. I got a barrage of text messages that outlines all of this. Well, I'm saying, like, what's the issue? Their main issue is we had Amani on a TV show, that we paid Amani, that Amani had a GoFundMe account. That Amani had a GoFundMe account set up by us. Which was needed.
Very much needed.
They had gotten, not my niece, but my two nephews, they had gotten all kind of money and time from me. They got things from me that Amani could never get, that Amani will never get now. And my youngest nephew, he's older than Amani, but younger than the older nephew, he trusted to contact me while Amani was on his deathbed. I was sitting beside Amani, literally holding his hand. And my nephew texts and says to me, how long are you here in Detroit for? I say, man, I don't really know. I'm here for Amani right now. I don't really know. He says, well, I was hoping maybe we could get together and, we could hang out. And I says, I don't know about it this time because I'm devoting this to Amani. I'm hoping that Amani gonna still stay alive. And this sucker he texts me back and says, wow, you can give all of this to a boy who you don't even know is yours. I say, well, shit, technically, he's the one I know is mine. And the thing about it is, It's y'all that's done the shit that I have to question. Are you really my DNA? Because it just feels like on some level, if you were my DNA, we wouldn't be having this kind of conversation because you know me.
But then the thing about it, his mama at birth, she put Turner, which is Chris' last name. She put Turner on the boy's birth certificate. And then when she had the girl, she put Walker, which is her last name.
And we ask her, why would you do that? Why would you not name all the children for the same last name, especially considering they're supposed to be from the same man? Made no sense at all, but you couldn't talk sense into her. And so we got into it about that. My niece don't even know that. My niece don't even know. So then my niece contacts Amani. So let's back up. There's so much to this. I want to give respect and thanks to Stacy and Amani's other family.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I didn't want to do this, because right now Amani has passed. We are all still grieving.
Yes.
They not once reached out to Stacy to give their condolences. They have not once reached out to the family and gave their condolences over the loss of Amani. They started out calling him their brother, because I told them, this is your brother. He's your father's son, if y'all are really y'all father's children. And they started out accepting that. Amani took it upon himself to go and meet with them, unbeknownst to me, as I told Amani, they wasn't raised like you were raised. They haven't had the love instilled in them like you've had. So they're going to deal with you differently. And I'm not necessarily saying that they would have hurt him, but I don't know, because I know how poisonous their mother was.
Yes.
I know the kind of issues that their mother, I know the kind of issues that their mother was about, and I know how she could lie and make up things. I didn't want Amani to get himself thrown into that and get hurt some kind of way. So I said, so let me sort of check things out. Let me make the connection between you and them. Well, he asked me, can you send me pictures of them? Well, I didn't have recent pictures. I had to go by my brother's, Chris, his Facebook page. And I went through his Facebook and some kind of way found pictures of the three of them. And I sent those pictures to Amani. When Amani saw them, he instantly recognized my niece. He knew her. He had played basketball with her. He says, oh, wow, I know her, Unc. I said, do you? I said, he said, I played basketball with her, Unc. I said, do you? I said, okay, cool. I said, well, just give me a minute. Let me figure out how I want to introduce it to y'all, because I don't want no drama. He says, okay. He was excited. He goes behind my back. I don't want to say behind my back, but he did. He didn't tell me that he was reaching out to them anyway. He reaches out to the sister. He meets the sister and the youngest brother. He meets them. The day that he meet them, they accused him, Amani, of having stolen $500. I don't know if my youngest nephew ever had $500 in his hand at one time in his life. He accused him, and I believe that was done as a way to get me to pay the $500 for Amani. That's what I believe later. So I called Amani, like, what's going on? They saying you stole money. Did you meet them? Amani was like, yeah, because I didn't know. He said, yeah, my apologies, Unc. Now I see what you're talking about. Now I see how they living. He said the mother was drunk. Kawan was drunk. He said they were belligerent. They were cussing. They were just talking all this crap. They were talking about my father. This is what Amani told me. He said they were talking about my father, disrespecting my father. He says, and I told him, like, listen, my father is deceased. Can we keep this about us? He says, so I was trying to really have a good time. He says, and when I left, I thought everything was good. It wasn't until the next day. And I said, well, man, I'm pretty sure you've never done that, because I know the upbringing that they had from their mother. I says, and unfortunately, this is what I was telling you, you cannot trust it. I says, I'm a family person. I believe in bringing family together. You see that echoed throughout our television show, but I'm also a Detroiter. And I spot bullshit real fast. And I don't want to be in the midst of it. And so I told him this. And he said, well, Uncle, I apologize. So after that, my nephew, the youngest nephew who accused Amani of stealing from him, he then calls me back and says to me, yeah, Unc, my bad. He didn't steal no money from me. It was all on me. And my bad. I'm going to tell little bro that. That's what he tells me. And I say, well, Kawan, I don't know how he's going to be behind this. I say, because it's really a lot when someone accuses you of something that you didn't do, especially stealing some money. He says, yeah, I get it, but I'm going to apologize to him. And he did. He apologized to Amani. But at that point, Amani was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I say, well, listen, man, don't forget what I told you. I says, if you decide to meet up with them again, you need to do it with a neutral party, someone that can have it documented, someone that could video it. I says, and I'm telling you what I know. I would never spit venom on anyone. These are things I've never said prior to now. No one can have it documented nowhere what I've ever said about their mother to anyone until right now. That says a lot. And I'm only doing this right now because I've been pulled into it. So I tell Amani that. He says, okay, Unc, I'm going to keep my distance. And if I decide to go around them, I'll make it a point to do it when either you're available or someone else. I say, cool, perfect. Him and Sierra starts talking some kind of way in the midst of the conversation. Sierra threatens Amani and threatens to have her brothers whoop his ass, was what she said to him. And that's when Amani told me, he says, Unc, I have to leave them alone forever. He says, I can never fool with them. He says, I got a license to carry a gun. He says, I have this liver. He says, I cannot, and this is before the liver went bad. He says, I cannot have any issues where, someone jumping on me and causing, me to lose my life. And that was, of course, before we knew this was going to happen, where him losing his life wasn't because of that, whatever. But so when he said that, I says, man, I understand. You got to do what's best for you. I talked back to my niece and nephew and try to explain to them, listen, y'all accuse this boy of something that y'all knew he didn't do. You just don't heal from that like that. Neither one of them understood. They felt like, oh, he need to get over it. It ain't no big deal. We found out it wasn't him. But you accused him after y'all just met him. He was looking at y'all like his savior. Y'all his big siblings. He's so ready to meet y'all. And it's so unfortunate, y'all, because when I tell y'all Amani was a good heart, Amani really should have been my nephew that I helped to take care of, because he really exemplified everything that we stand for. So the DNA is reflected. It reflects like, wow, he really is ours. Those other ones, I really genuinely, because of their behavior, I question, are they really mine? And the only way we can ever find out is through her DNA. Ain't that something? We can only find out through her DNA. I wouldn't even probably question it if it wasn't for the barrage of issues and the attack on money. All they think that we made up. One of them said that we made up storyline. Let me be clear. We have a reality television show that's predicated on our real lives now. It's not predicated on what the hell happened 20 years ago. It's not predicated on someone who I took care of 20 years ago who didn't even invite me to the graduation when one of them graduated. It's not predicated on that. It's predicated on where we are right now. So for them to feel entitled to be on a television show when they haven't been a part of my life, it baffles me. It literally is perplexing that anyone could think such a thing. When they say keep that same damn energy, I'm just keeping the same energy. My youngest nephew, when he got out of jail in December of 2020. Our television show aired August of 2020. I had not talked to him in over 15 years because he was different. I did talk to him from time to time, but I didn't talk to him then in over 15 years. He inboxed me on Facebook. Hey, what's up, Unc? I see you on TV and, blah, blah, blah. And it's really good and da-da-da. We got to keep in touch. I responded, hey, nephew, how you doing? I gave my normal response. We were good. I sent him a little money and I told him I'm sending you this on behalf of your father. Your father passed away. I took care of the funeral and I want to send you a little money. After I sent him that little money, every time I looked around, his ass was calling me, asking me for more money. And I did it. It wouldn't be a lot. It'd be $50 here, $100 there, but I did it. This is a grown ass man. He's a grown man. Felt comfortable enough to come to me to ask for money because in his words, now that he's an adult and been in and out of jail, he can't find a good job. Well, that's not my damn fault. Had you stayed with me and your mother stayed out of it, you'd have had a good job. You'd have been working for my company that I created. But no, they don't understand that. And so now when he sent me the text message while Amani was on his deathbed, asking me would I spend some time with him while I'm there in Detroit, and I told him I'm here for Amani this time, and I won't be able to do that. He then goes off, yeah, y'all do so much for Amani, and y'all done a GoFundMe for Amani, but y'all ain't done nothing for us. He just goes off, and I says to him, I'm done. Behind this text, I am done. We can go right back in our own separate corners. I don't have shit to say to none of you. He then says, oh, you done? Okay, I'm about to go to social media. So literally, when I have an issue with family, y'all, I go to the family member.
Right.
If we happen to be filming and I have an issue with family, y'all see it on television. But outside of that, I don't go to social media to address or talk about or attack anyone. I do that to my family. That's what we're family. The fan page is just that. It's for fans. It's for people that don't know us. It's for people that can't touch us. It's for people that don't have our phone numbers or our email addresses, right? It's not for family.
Right.
My niece contacted my mother. What was it? She contacted my mother after she saw the GoFundMe. After she saw the GoFundMe for Amani, right before Amani died. It was the GoFundMe. It was right before. So let's back up. Her birthday was the 1st of July. My mother texted her, happy birthday. Everything was good. Now, I didn't even tell my mother that I had issues with my niece. I don't keep drama. I never even mentioned to my mother that I hadn't spoken with my niece in almost a year. I never mentioned it until my niece texted Gigi after her birthday. And after her birthday, she texts, oh, thank you, Gigi. She texts, thank you, Gigi, for reaching out to me on my birthday. Thank you. I'm have a good day. And then a couple of days after that, the GoFundMe, we thanked people for the GoFundMe and everything. My niece saw it. My niece then contacts Gigi and goes off on Gigi like, yeah, keep my, get rid of my number, block me. I don't ever want to talk to y'all again. Y'all done all this for this other boy. And she says, even if something happens to him, I won't be at the funeral. This is before he died.
I won't be fake.
Even if something happens to him, I won't be at the funeral. Like in her mind, she's being gangster. That gets old. That gets real old. In her mind, she's keeping it real. It won't be until her ass is 50 years old when she realizes what family consists of. And unfortunately, she never got the core values from us. And even the core values that we was given to my nephews, that got lost or diluted from the poison that their mother gave them. And that's the unfortunate part about it. The children really are innocent to the degree they can't control what we as the adults put in them. They really can't. But at some point, you hope when they become adults that they're able to go back in time and look at all the things that their parents done. Like I did. I thought Gigi was the worst mother ever. I did. I thought because she didn't take no shit. And it took me to become an adult to say, I don't have a criminal record. Thank God you were like you were. I'm still alive. Thank God you were like you were. I now see the benefit in my mother being the mother that she's always been. I now see the benefit in her raising me to understand not to infringe on others, not to steal from others, not to lie on others. I see it. I didn't understand it when I was younger, but I see it very clear now. And I hoped that the day would come that my nephews, not my niece, because I had nothing to do with her. We had no interaction at all. But
She
my two,
had no idea, no knowledge in one way or another about us. Because I even told her, I said, she's the only one out of all this I feel has taken a bad rap.
Yeah.
Because she don't know nothing about us. She don't know that I asked her mother, when I saw her, how her mother drank, when I saw how her mother lie and manipulate stuff, when I saw how she was treating her like the boys, I asked her mother to let me raise her. She said no. And then shortly after that was when she said for me to take care of my two boys and for Derek to go have his own kids. What are we going to do with that?
Yeah.
I can't make nobody allow me to see their children. I don't care what the children are to me.
yeah.
So when we stepped out, that was okay with them until this show, till Amani showed up. Now, they wanted probably to say something before Amani,
Yeah.
but they didn't have a real complaint, if you will. But when Amani stepped up, all hell broke loose.
Yeah. Yeah. All hell broke loose. Hey, Becky, I see you in there. Can you send me a request?
And then she texts me after the GoFundMe, yeah, we're treating him like he's real family, and we don't know if he's real family. And Amani is not their first cousin. They're Deon's kids' first cousin, and they never even met them. That is not our fault. That is not our fault. The fault that belongs today,
Right.
and that's their mother. I never said anything wrong or harmful to them about their mother. Even the very last text, when she texted me and told me to to get rid of her number. No, she said block her number. I text her back. I don't know what's causing your pain. Let's talk about it. Let's see if we can resolve it. Let's see if we can get under this pain and get rid of it for you. She didn't call me back. She didn't text me back. So you know what I did? I told him, block her ass.
Yeah.
I don't even want her to be able to text me or call me anytime she wants to. I tried my best to extend who I am to her. That's not good enough because she's been filled with venom and poison against us. We can't change that. I don't give a shit what we do. We can't change it. So from this point, I don't want to have shit to do with them. I don't care if they get a DNA tomorrow. I don't care. I don't want to have anything to do with them because they can always have that underlining issue
Yeah.
within them that their mother put there. I'm not dealing with that.
Yeah, and we'll never be treated fairly. Just so you guys know, I'm Becky. I'm going to have you come off in a second. I just want everyone to know that Becky really is a real person. She's posting on Facebook most of the times. I don't keep up. I don't follow the fan page. It's a crock of shit as far as I'm concerned because I came up from the old school. When you had a fan, you loved the fan. You said great things about the fan. This whole new generation of your dog and picking apart, that's not a fan page. Call it something else. So I don't follow the page. It's Becky that actually brings me certain things, and she and I will talk privately, and I'll give her some insight on certain things. And so when she's posting like my text messages, these are things that I'm really sending to Becky. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be sending Becky this text message that Gigi has from my niece, where Gigi actually asks my niece, "Hey, what's going on? Let's talk about it."
Let's talk about it.
But instead, she goes to face her fan page. You family. You don't need a fan page. Come directly to us.
I said, where's the pain coming from? Because I know there's got to be pain. Because when we first started trying to make a relationship, it's because she had told Derek that her feelings was hurt.
Yeah.
And that's when I wanted to reach out then.
She reached out to me on Instagram and said her feelings was hurt. And I said, I'm always here. I gave her my number. We had never talked. So she didn't have my number. I didn't have hers. I given her my number and said, call me when you can. She said, I'm doing hair. It'll be later. I said, I'm always here. She wound up not reaching out. It wasn't until 3 weeks after that that Amani was on the show again. And that's when she reached out again. And when she reached out that time, I said, let's talk. We hopped on a phone call. We talked for hours. I told her I wanted to apologize to her. I said, because she was a casualty of war, that this wasn't, about her. I explained to her I didn't want her to think that it's hard for people to feel like they're not accepted.
Yeah.
I didn't want her to think that she wasn't accepted. I wanted her to know it was never against you. And I tried to tiptoe around how I talked about her mother.
Yes.
It's still her mother.
Yes.
I don't want to like, your mother ain't no good. Your mother's an habitual liar. Everything come out of her mouth is a lie.
Yes.
She should know this by now. But
She
I didn't want to say it about her mother. I'm still respecting that's your mother.
Yeah.
So I cleaned it up by saying, our families didn't have the best relationship. I said, and because of that, I just got tired of that and I decided to back off. And unfortunately, you were a baby and you weren't there for that.
Yeah.
And after we talked, she understood. So she made it like she understood. And we talked every day. From that moment, we talked every day until the last episode of Amani came on. And that was the one where he was here for Thanksgiving dinner. When he came here for Thanksgiving dinner and we filmed that, she felt some kind of way. And I said, Sierra, that was filmed months ago before you and I even basically met each other. I said, so don't be angry now for something that happened back then. And now you and I made an amend.
And then something else just crossed my mind. How do you think that your oldest brother stole from my mother, his great grandmother, and we haven't talked in over 20 years, 25 years, and we're supposed to now accept you into our lives, into our homes. We don't know what part of that thieving issue that your oldest brother have that wasn't passed on to y'all.
Exactly.
So we're going to bring you around everything that we love for y'all to come in and then wreak havoc on the rest of the family.
Poison them.
Not happening.
Our children, my children are very good. They, I'll say for the most part, Karen and I have done with my children what Gigi did with me. Gigi kept a good sound foundation for me. And she schooled me on life, on people, on life. And she started doing this young. I mean, as early as I could communicate, which is what we do with our children. And at the point that I started being exposed to drugs and all the things, gangs and everything that in life that I wanted no part of, I was mature enough based off of what teachings my mother had given me to know I don't want no parts of that. So that's what y'all see echoed in my children. And that's what I was also trying to give my nephews. I was trying to show them, like, I didn't want them, unfortunately, their father had been in and out of jail for petty stuff. I didn't want that for them. I wanted my nephews to have a very solid foundation, understanding that they were watching both of their parents do things that wasn't, I would say, pleasurable. Yeah. So I call myself, without talking about their parents, which I never did, but I wanted to show them. It's just unfortunate that you can only do so much. And so we had to back out. I had to back out.
And another thing, I don't care what they say after this. I would never make another comment about nothing that they say because I didn't want to do this because it was doing just what they wanted to get a platform. I didn't want to be part of their platform. I really didn't. So saying that, I will not come back addressing anything. If they tell you that I was the whole of the 60s and 70s,
the whole of the 60s. Where the hell you get that? The whole of the 60s and 70s.
So be it. That's just who I was. That's how it's going to end. I'm not going to be trying to defend myself against that ignorance. I'm not doing it. No more.
Well, I ask for y'all to learn a lesson from this. When it's all said and done, all you really have is family. Don't allow crap, jealousy. They're jealous of Amani. They're jealous of the love that we gave Amani that we would have given to them. We wanted to give to them.
Freely.
Yeah, freely. But I'm not here to force my love on anyone.
No.
I will allow you to be a part of my life, and I want you to be a part of my life if you'll allow me to be a part of yours. But the thing we're not going to do, we're not going to disrespect each other. Right. I'm not going to disrespect you, and I'm for shit show not taking disrespect from you. So with that being said, I'm cut from a different cloth. I believe in loyalty. I believe in honor. I believe in the code of ethics. If this was the Italian families don't do this. This is frowned upon in many families. Unfortunately, within the African American community, this has become our normal, and I hate it. I detest it. If you guys ever follow me on social media, whenever I see this back and forth going with other family members, with celebrities like Kirk Franklin and his son, I think it's disgusting. I think it's disgusting when social media has created a platform that make these children think that's your go-to. No, go to a damn counselor. Have counseling so we can get to the real root of it. Because the problem right here is if we could have a counseling session, or we can get to the real root of it. Because when they, after a couple of minutes of talking to their mother, they know what the fucking problem is. But the problem here is we got a young person that has no knowledge of me. She has no knowledge of my mother. And there's no one on the inside to be fair. I tell my mother all the time, I says, if I have a problem with my neighbor, I could go to the police. I could take them through the judicial process, right? I could take them to court. But if I got a problem with a family member, how the hell do I deal with that? What's my go-to? That's why every family has a patriarch and a matriarch. But here's the kicker. That patriarch and that matriarch has to be a sound mind.
Yeah.
They have to be a fair mind.
Yeah.
They can't be quick to pass judgment. They got to be able to assess the problem and give their input and have their input respected.
Yeah.
See, remember, I had just met Amani, so Amani still didn't have the rapport with me when I told him, don't contact them yet because we got to do this strategically. I don't know how they'll take you. And I felt like there would be some jealousy or some issues. I said, it would be a shame for my brother Chris, for his children, if in fact they are Chris's children, it would be a shame for his 4 children to not have a relationship. As a parent, I want to think of my children always getting along, and I ensure that right now with them. I preach, since this has been going on, I tell my children, this is why family is important, because there's no reason why one of my family members should have their asses on the social media site. We're in the middle of grieving the death of Amani, going through with the health challenges my mother, thank God, doing so great. Thank God. Going through all this, and we got to come to social media and talk about this shit. Really? When they could have called me, they have my phone number. Many of you on here don't have my personal number. They have my personal cell number. I can show you the last text communication where I welcome them. Call me. But don't start no bullshit and don't tell no lies. Keep it real. Keep it 100. Same thing with Gigi. They reached out to Gigi. They did not call her. Well, I say they, it was Sierra. Sierra texted Gigi. Gigi responded to the text and showed me. And that was in that moment I told Gigi, I said, and this is my hand to God. I told Gigi, I haven't talked to Sierra in a year. She says a year. I said, it's almost a year. I said, when she did the same thing with me, I said, she expressed that she had some issues. I sent her money. Because I wanted her. Her mother had put her out. And I'm like, you're a young lady in Detroit. You can't be put out on no damn street. Somebody do something to you. I sent her money to get her room. And I told her, when you get yourself together, you call me so we can talk about this. Whatever it is, bring it to me. She never reached back out. And you know what I did? I gave the same damn energy. I'm used to not being in their lives anyway. Yeah. We can go this way forever. I don't need them. I mean, respectfully, there was a period where I missed my nephews after the first year or so. My youngest nephew told me, I said, Kiki, I know you've been in and out of jail, but why the hell didn't you try to reach out to me, while you was out of jail? He said, well, you understand, my father told me not to call y'all. I said, boy, you was a grown man. You know how good I was to you. You know how I bought y'all trampolines and dream boxes. It wasn't PlayStation, I don't think then, but they had every damn thing. You know how I took care of you. Why, when you called me on your own, you snuck and done every damn thing else? Why didn't you sneak and call me? Keep that same energy. Yeah. And he showed me to the point where, well, you can't really blame me because I was young, but you're a grown man now. Now what? I told him, I said, I don't want to introduce y'all to the world of these fans. Some of these fans, they call themselves fans, but they haters. They pick apart every damn thing that we go through. I said, I don't want them pulling up your criminal record. He has a criminal record from here to Detroit. I don't want them pulling up your criminal record. He told me he had some shit going on in Arizona. I don't want that to come into play. But I can't care more about this than you care. You got to learn to appreciate who you see me and how you see me to be. You know how we raised y'all. You know how the parties and the family gatherings that we had at my house and at mama's house. You know how we got down. Don't let no one, even your mother, don't let anyone poison you. You know the lies your mother tell. You know the lies your mother told about you that you told me. So, he told me out of his own mouth he couldn't stay with his mother because of how she lied and the shit that she started. Well, if that's your mother and you can't put up with it, what do you think about me? Because I don't love her. Respectfully, I don't love her. I don't want nothing bad to happen to her, but I don't love her. I don't feel by her what you feel by her. So what was my recourse? When she bullied me, when she lied on me, when she spreaded shit about me, when she told my brother that I tried to make a pass on her, and that never happened. My brother told me, Derek, I know you would never do no shit like that. My mother raised us. You don't do no family shit like that ever. Y'all got to understand, my mother didn't play no games. And y'all got to understand, I had high respect and love for my mother. And I got the wife I got right now, or the wife I had, because of my mother, because of
you have, because y'all
we working on that. But I met Karen because of my mother. Because unlike my brother, I took my mother's great advice. Why? Because I watched my mother's great advice work for her. Unlike my niece and nephews, they have watched. Their mother haven't done anything so great that it's worth watching. I mean, just don't listen to me. Just look at your own life. Don't listen. You don't got to come to me. Go look at your own life and where you are. That'll tell you the tale. That's how we know the truth. I could not allow them to come around my children and poison.
Under no circumstances.
I would. It would be advantageous, remiss. It would be. It wouldn't behoove me to bring anyone around my children that I, as a father, I'm supposed to have the ability to see beyond the bullshit. I'm supposed to have the ability to protect the pride, so to speak. It would be a disservice to all my children for me to let anyone come into their lives and harm them on any level. Even with what Karen and I are going through, Karen and I are respectful. We have our issues privately. We talk privately. Our children aren't around. We don't fuss and fight in front of our children. Any disagreements we have, we share that privately, unless we're having a family discussion. We do everything appropriately. We do everything respectfully because we understand we have young children watching. We have young children watching. That's so important. So any of you having the same issues that we're having, I beg you, go to your family. Don't use social media. Social media is not for that. You know, people say, oh, but we use social media because it's a new thing now. You don't defecate out in the damn street.
That's right.
Because you can.
That's right.
There's a time and there's a place. Social media is never the time. Social media is never the place. Period. You contact your family. Now, I'm not asking for no one to play matchmaker or counseling. At this point, they've taken this to social media. I'm like Gigi. I'm done. I will not address this anymore. No matter what's posted, I have nothing to say about it. Y'all know my stance. This will remain on my on my Instagram page, excuse me, and I will also be sharing it to Gigi's page, so you guys can come back and forth and reference it. I will not be commenting. I appreciate the love from those of you that love us. From those of you that don't know us, I say one thing: just use your common sense.
That's it.
They're talking about what we did with their father, but not. I didn't get one dime for covering their father's funeral. Not one. And that funeral came to what, over 10,000 some odd dollars. I didn't get one dime, not one suggestion. When my mother called to find out the names of their children, because we don't have a relationship with them, so we knew they had children, but we don't know the children's names. Nothing. Stacy, we love her. Stacy has exemplified the type of family that we wanted, that we wished my nephews and nieces would have had, because we would have a relationship. But I don't give a damn what. If how they say, the apple don't fall far from the tree.
Right.
If that tree,
sometimes the apple don't fall from the tree, period.
Right, I like that one. Sometimes that damn apple don't even fall from the tree. Stay stuck on the damn tree. There's a legal doctrine, and it's called the fruit of the poisonous tree. Y'all can look it up. Fruit of the poisonous tree. That means if a police officer does some shit to someone, and maybe that person was really right, but that police officer tainted some portion of that story, the whole story is now bad because that fruit is poisoned. Same thing here. That fruit has been poisoned, and there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, I done sent money, I done sent love, I've created a group text, I'm calling them on their birthdays, I'm doing everything that is in me as a human, as an uncle, as a relative to do, and I still get your ass to kiss. I'm good on that.
Because I was calling Cece like every week or two. I was not calling her.
You was texting her.
I was texting her. Hey, granddaughter, just thinking about you. Want to let you know I love you. And then all of a sudden, I get this text, remove my number. Okay. Removed.
Yeah, you want to, I'm not going to harass you. I'm not going to beg you to love me. Thank God I got my beautiful mother. I have my 15 children, that's including Eric. I have other friends and family members. For those who don't wish to be in my life, guess what? Your ass is not chained. You're not chained down. You get a chance to walk away. So I'm asking you, show me how big you really are, and leave me the hell alone. Leave anything associated with me. My name, my platform, a Facebook page. If you really don't want nothing to do with me, leave me the hell alone. That's what I do. And I don't give a shit how big you become in life. I will never reach out to you. If that's how we got it, I won't. I'm not a clout chaser. I'm not trying to get fame off someone else's name.
Right.
I would feel away by doing that. That's not who I am. Don't clout chase. Don't try to be a part of what we got, but you claim you don't want nothing to do with us.
Right.
People that I don't want nothing to do with, I leave them alone. I don't follow their social media.
We're such terrible people.
Yeah. Why waste your time?
We're terrible people. Damn. I know I don't. I'm not dealing with no terrible people. No. Go on about your damn way. No.
That's why they came up with the term, keep that same energy.
Yeah.
You ain't talking to me, I ain't talking to you.
That's it.
You wasn't talking to me. I'm not having you on the show. I'm not sending you no money. I'm not doing a GoFundMe. And you better pray that your days are long and healthy. Because as we all know, we all go through some shit in life. And it's those friends that you think are your friends, or even some of the fans that you think are your friends. It's your family that's usually there for you.
That's right.
And that's who you want to be there for you.
But the thing about the GoFundMe, what do they do? Think that if you broke, you just put in for a GoFundMe. I don't get that. I said, honest to God, I don't.
Gigi has spoken, y'all.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
So GoFundMe.
Yeah.
And here, the GoFundMe that you started.
I didn't even know that my nephew would die as he never got
to even see the GoFundMe.
Yeah, thank God Stacy was able to take care of things, and it's just so sad because I'm watching this woman who fought hard for her son to be here.
Yeah.
Now he's gone. You know, we're stuck, of course, grieving, and in the midst of this, I have to deal with this type of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, no respect for the dead, no respect for the fact that we know for a fact that Amani was for sure Chris's son.
But that's right.
We don't know about the other ones, but on the fact that it was said that they were.
That's what we.
That to me warrants a level of respect for him as being who he was to them. Because at the end of the day, it wasn't Amani's fault that he was your brother. It wasn't Amani's fault of the issues that we had with your mother. It was none of that's Amani's fault. So why the anger toward him? Threaten to whoop his ass?
Did they want him to just step back out the picture? What?
Amani appreciated who we were.
Yeah.
He wanted the relationship. Amani wanted the closest. Amani was calling me on a regular basis, and it wasn't connected to money. He was just, he was calling me.
Grandma, how you feel?
Yeah.
That's what he said.
He was calling on a regular basis. Amani wanted the genuine love. And let me say this to y'all. Stacy reads all the messages. She is overwhelmed with the love and the honor and the respect that many of y'all have given to her and given to the family. Yes. We are elated just to know the love that Amani, has received from the world. I mean, I'm still, every day, I'm getting DM'd from people inboxing me about Amani. So I thank God that God blessed us to have Amani. I hate that my brother Chris died. My brother Chris died wanting a relationship with Sierra, wanting a relationship with Kawan, and wanting a relationship with Chris, his oldest son. Yeah. He died. He vented to me and Gigi. He wasn't even talking to Cece. Cece had stopped talking to him. Sierra, she had stopped talking to him, just like she's doing with us. So he died, and that never got rectified. Again, I felt that she felt the pain, but the problem is when you haven't been taught, there is an adult way to communicate. There is an adult way. Karen and I have differences, but we handle it like an adult. Yeah. I hear her, she hear me, and we don't always get it together on the first time either. Sometimes it takes several times. However, I don't disrespect her, and she don't disrespect me. There is an adult way to handle problems. And we as adults and we as family, we're going to always have problems. But I'm not going to have a problem with my mother and take it outside and talk about it on the bullhorn in front of my house. I'm not doing that. And that's the part for me. They have not been taught proper adult communication skills. They haven't been taught how to try to rectify the issue and see their own problems, how to see themselves. I mean, when we went to Amani, I talked to Amani about reaching out to them, quote unquote, behind my back. And he apologized. And I told him, I says, man, you don't owe me an apology. I understand. I say, these are siblings that you found out you got. And in your mind, you thinking it's going to be, kumbaya, we're going to hug and kiss. I says, and that's why you did it. You did it in your mind, hoping for something bigger than it would be. And it's so unfortunate, y'all. It's so unfortunate that my other alleged, I keep saying alleged because their behavior does not reflect that of a real Turner. The real Turners, that's still my blood. They still me. Yeah. I still talk to them, other than a couple. And the ones that I don't, I question if they're a Turner. Because I do feel like when you're connected through DNA, there really should be some similarities. There should be some type of connection that allows you to see, wow, that's family. Like we saw with Amani. Yeah. I don't see any family connection with those other ones. And I pray any of you that have the same issues, whether you're on my end of it or whether you're on their end of it, that you properly handle it. Go seek counseling. Be willing and ready to listen. Yes. Don't be so rah, rah, rah. Everything in life is not rah, rah, rah. As my mother told me, when I had a temper, people with bad tempers and all bad people are 6 miles out of town and 6 feet down.
3 miles
it'll get you killed. We're not trying to do that. You want to talk. Inbox me. But you don't got to go to a fan page. Hence, that's why it's called fan page. It's for the fans. You got the family page. You can contact me with family. It's the craziest thing ever, y'all. So have you said everything that you got?
Probably not, but I'll think of something when you get off of there. But my main thing is to let them know that whatever they come back with, I will not be getting on here addressing it. I don't care what it is.
Yeah.
If they say I got 10 toes going down my spine. Yeah, I don't care.
And I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, but you don't got to contact me either. You'll address it. I got this on here for you guys as a point of reference. I really have I got life going on. I mean, I work,
Yeah.
I'm running a business, I'm taking care of my children. I don't have the luxury
Taking care of his mama,
taking care of
his
my mommy.
mommy.
I don't have the luxury of just sitting my ass at home on social media, talking about people. I just don't. My life is filled with other things. I don't have time to talk to fans that's hating on me and all this and that and you and can't. I really, I don't have the time. And I say to those that have the time, keep living. And the day will come, you'll think about me. When life hits you, when real life hits you. Because this ain't real life. I mean, they didn't lose Amani. They didn't have a relationship with Amani. So Amani being gone, it's a shame. While Amani was on his deathbed, I was thinking to myself, I hope he don't die. Because I felt like it would give them a greater sense of, yeah, like in their minds, the fact that he died is a come up. I, that part I hate more than any of it. That someone could look at someone else and not be able to get past their issues. Whatever issues you got, we just lost a member of our family, of quote unquote, supposedly your family. We just lost them. And in the midst of that, you bring drama about a GoFundMe money, you bring drama about attention and being on a TV show. Like, I need to find content for a TV show. My life is a fucking TV show. My life is content. My life, my normal life, the stresses that we go through, the stresses that we try to deal with. Y'all don't even know how many times Gigi was in emergency while we were in Detroit with Amani. Right. I never even posted the shit. No one even know that my mother was in emergency at the same hospital that Amani was at. No one even knows that. But my point in saying this is we got real life shit that we're dealing with. And I'm only addressing this for my fans who love us, who understand us, who believe in us. It's only for y'all. That's it. And hopefully it'll help some other families. So that's all for me. I done said enough.
I had no idea that Deon's brother had other children out there. So I guess what happened was that on the Facebook page or the fan page, they were airing out Deon and Gigi. I had no clue about this, but I'm definitely going to do some more research on this. Let me know what you guys think about this whole scenario. This is sad because Amani just passed away, you guys.